And that idea that we're always sort of straddling this fence of a basic one. In many areas we have fences in our lives, but one is it's a basic idea between head and heart, and we want to always be balancing those two out. I want to read for you a passage here. This is a piece of Christian New Church theology, and it's talking a bit about that balance when we get it way out of balance. Within the church, and they're talking sort of a global idea there, not a specific denomination. Within the church, the chief falsity to develop out of evil is falsity that promotes a wicked life. An example is the notion that it's not goodness, that is love for others, but truth, that is faith, that makes a person religious. This point of view says that it does not matter how we live throughout the course of our life. We are saved as long as we express some kind of belief with apparent feeling. And it's an interesting warning there, because what it's saying is that, boy, it can't just be words. Like, your faith just cannot just be words. It has to be how you live. And I remember years ago reading a beautiful quote, and it was somebody somebody asked him, well, are you Christian? And they wrote down a list of their neighbors, and they said, I don't know, ask them. And I think there's something to that, right? Like, it can't just be words. It has to be action. It has to be what we live. St. Francis of Assisi put it so well: preach the word every day, and if need be, use words. Now, an extreme negative example of where it's just words and kind of silly was, I remember years ago listening to NPR, and they had on actually a guy who was an old mafia hitman of all things. And asked him, did he feel any guilt about what he'd done? And he said, no, because I've professed the belief in Jesus, and my guilt has been washed clean. And I thought, like, oh, dude, please be careful with that. Because just imagine you're a family hearing that. I mean, obviously, God is forgiving. Obviously, God is always looking to bring us back into the fold, so to speak. But our language, we got to be careful with it, and we have to be really aware of how we live our faith, and that includes both forgiveness and accountability, and all those basic parts of it really matter. I mean, yesterday, and this is a sermon we have coming up, it was kind of fun, sermon writing team, which was fun to do from down here in Florida. Sermon writing team, we were in a conversation, and the conversation was around, what was something that someone told you that was really hard to hear, but that you absolutely needed to hear it? Really hard to hear, but that you absolutely needed to hear it. And there were lots of examples, personal ones, work ones, etc., where somebody had sort of called somebody on it, but it ended up being really, really healthy. And I think that's where truth can be a beautiful thing, because if we're coming from love, we can say the hard thing. And that hard thing can be, not all the time, but it can be received in a way that it needs to be received. And the flip of it is that we can also hear the hard thing. And when we know it's from somebody who's coming from love, somebody who has our best long-term interests in mind, we can hear it, and it really can make a big difference in our life. It doesn't mean we have to hear all things from all people. I love the way Brene Brown put it. She said, absolutely, you need to listen to your critics, but you get to choose the critics. And I thought that's a good way to do it. You don't want to take that too far, obviously, but the idea, friends, that you really should, all of us should have a board of directors, so to speak, a group of people whose opinion really matters. And don't be afraid within that group of people to ask them to tell you the hard things, like, where are you coming up short? Where are you missing? What are you not doing? And boy, that can be so enlivening to have. I know we have this wonderful team at New Church Live. We get together every week to chat about the service that was, talk about the service in the future. And, they're great at offering feedback that sometimes is a little bit of an ouch, but it's really good. I mean, some of the ones that made me laugh, after I heard the initial ouch, it's just like, oh yeah, I need to do that. One was I was wearing blue too much. I'm wearing blue today. I needed to change that. And just this past week was Chuck, when you do this, it makes the people who are watching online feel like they're outsiders, not insiders. Another one really good. So friends, the takeaway for this is is to welcome the feedback. And the feedback you get to welcome is the feedback that comes from love. And sometimes that can be pointed. Sometimes that can be a little bit of an ouch. But if it comes from love, probably worthwhile to listen to. It doesn't mean that everyone else is always right in that feedback. You get to choose, what's appropriate feedback, what's not. I find that to be really, really true a lot of the time that, people will have feedback, but they don't know the whole story per se over something or some decision that was made. But we do need to have that. We need to have the feedback. We need to have this truth that comes out of love. But love's always primary. I mean, it is so consistent. Let's be clear. Love is primary. Come from love. Be loving. Don't worry about being right. Worry about being loving, and then allow the rightness to take care of itself. I mean, just those basic core messages that we need to continue to live into more and more throughout our years on this planet before we head off to the next great adventure. All right, friends. Well, wishing you a day of that. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little breath, and we're going to do a little meditation. We're going to do a little prayer. We're going to do a little blessing. And then we will say hi to folks on social media. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little breath. And a meditation. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's give a little cheery hello to anyone who might have joined us on Facebook here. See if there's anyone. Let me scooch this on over to here. All right. Marcus, we have a ladder here at Nutrients Live. Well played, Marcus. That was good. And good morning to you, my friend. That is a very good inside joke, just so you guys know. We had a ladder on stage, and the running bet was, could I work it into a sermon? It was just left there for another theater group that was using the Mitchell Performing Arts Center, and I did. So that was the reference there. Linda, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well, my friend. All right, friends, always a joy, always a privilege, always an honor to be joining you for 10 minutes of Morning Calm. Thinking the world of everyone out there, and we will see you again next week. Oh, and one other final reminder. This week we will be Sunday up in Bernathen, Pennsylvania, where we broadcast from. Bob Plefka will be leading that charge of that service up there. Bob's a dear friend, great board member, good guy, and he'll be doing a special service up there. We're using some of our archived material. And we are also having a service down here in Vero Beach, Florida. We will be doing that at Quail Club. You can find more information on our homepage, and if that interests you, would love to see you there. 10:30 coffee, 11 a.m., 10:30